Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Welcome back to Hijrah Tips and Advice. In this video, I'm going to talk about something very practical that you need to incorporate in your plans for Hijrah, and that is travel to the actual country you're going to. The reality for anyone who wants to leave to go to another country is that you don't know anything about that country. No matter how many people you know or you've met from another country that are in your country, you don't know enough about that country. What you see or what you think you know is based on what the person you know, they allow you to see their personality or experience something of their culture. But in reality, you really don't know anything about the country. You know a little bit about the people, okay? And this is almost without exception, because there are so many people that when they go to a country, they went there and they kind of scoped it out, a physical visit. Then they were able to make a decision, because it's different when you're reading about something or watching a video and you actually have went there for some kind of period of time, even if it's just a month or 2 weeks, just to get an idea, or maybe multiple short trips just to get an idea of what's in the country. You have to actually go to the country to see what it is that's there on the ground. I'm going to give you a statistic, and some of the things I'm going to say in this video, you might not necessarily agree with, you might not necessarily want to accept, but they are on average a reality. Of course, disclaimer here, there will be some exceptions to the rule, but not many. Okay, statistically speaking, I'm speaking about Americans with this next statement. Yeah, because I live in America. This is what I know statistically, not from my mind. Statistically speaking, only 20% of Americans hold a passport, hold a U.S. passport. What that means is that for every 10 Americans on average, only 2 of them actually have a passport. So they have the potential to leave the country and go somewhere else to examine a culture or vacation or lifestyle or whatever the reason is. They've left that country, they are able to leave the country, and they have experienced, whether it be long-term or short-term, some other different culture. Now, I'm probably sure that the number of people who actually hold passports in America, those 2 people on average for every 10, I will probably venture to say that I would say between 50 to 60% have actually left the country, because some people get passports and they never go anywhere. Okay. What that means is this. That means that Americans in general don't really know much about the world culture. Again, videos, television, YouTube videos, books that you read, classes that you take on Asian history or whatever it is that you want to study, that doesn't give you a realistic picture or a in real life picture of the place that you are wanting to settle to or that you're interested in. What's going to do that is you actually going there. And I say the videos standpoint because you will see a lot of informative videos, okay, from people who are actually doing what I'm suggesting. But a lot of this it could be subjective. It could be that this person had a very good experience or had a bad experience, depending on the individual, their lifestyle, their customs, what they are accustomed to, and things of that nature. So you have to actually go there. So that's one thing. The second thing is this. Most people in other countries have the same mentality. They think they know a lot about X country because, alhamdulillah, they think they know about X country because they have met so many people. So there are people who meet people from the stands, Pakistan and Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan, or they met a lot of people from Asia, from China, from Japan and Korea and the Philippines, or from the Arab countries. They go meet people. They have a lot of people they know from Egypt and from Saudi and from Qatar and from Sudan and from Africa and like this. But you don't really know the country until you go there. And many people in other countries have the same idea. They think that because they know a lot of Americans, that they can say, okay, well, America's like this, America's like that, America's like that. And there's some margin of truth to it. So I'm not saying that you're completely wrong. What I'm saying is you don't have the full experience of being there. Okay. So the only way you're going to get that is if you actually go to that country and be with those people. And I have a personal thing, a personal mantra that I hold on to. And I say, you never know a people until you go and sit in their country. And what I mean by sit in their country, I mean, when you go there, you have to get away from the airport. I like me personally, when I go somewhere, I like to go down into the villages, down into the city. I want to get away from the airport because the airport is designed to be a welcoming experience. So when you get in the airport and you land, there's this international flow and there's people from all over the place, all over the earth there. And, everything looks pristine and clean and, it's really nice and all of these things. It's designed to be welcoming when you first arrive, because if it was other than that, you would get on the next plane tomorrow and go back home or go back where you came from or go to some other place. I would say probably when you get about 50 miles outside of the airport, that's when you see the actual country. I want to go into the cities. I want to go into the neighborhoods. I want to go into the places where the corner stores are. I want to go to where the hospitals and the clinics are and the grocery stores. In other words, I want to vibe with the regular, normal people. And when I first made Hijrah, one of the last things I wanted to do was be surrounded by Americans. I'm American. I lived in America my whole life. I didn't travel on the 3,000 to 5,000 miles on the other side of the world to sit and talk with people who look like me. That was my pet peeve at that time. I didn't want to run into other Americans because Americans in particular can be very insulated. Can be very insulated. They have their own little community and their own little hub, and the little compounds, and they have their own clique, and that can limit you in experiencing the culture that you have flown into, that you just landed into. I don't know anything. I had a colleague of mine from South Africa a long time ago, and as a female, my English coordinator, and she had been in Bahrain all of maybe 10 years, 15 years, something like about 10 years. And she still didn't know how to say anything in Arabic. Why? You're in the country, you've been here 10 years, you still can't even say hello. You can't ask for directions. You can't ask, for, a can of beans or a vegetable from the fruit stand or anything, nothing. Why? Because the foreigners are very insulated. They just stay in their cliques amongst each other. And then, of course, again, I have to say this because we live in a very sensitive society. I'm not saying that this is everyone. I'm saying this is from the people that I have met in my travels. They're very cliquey. We have our little clique here. The Filipinos have their clique. The South Africans have their clique. The Americans have their clique. The UK guys, they have their clique. The Australians have a clique. The New Zealanders have a clique. The Egyptians have a clique. Everybody's clicked up. So nobody's experiencing the culture. No, you have to do that. The second part I want to mention in this video, after I remind you and ask you to like and subscribe. The second thing I want to mention is this. When we are searching for opportunities, to get into as part of our Hijrah process. So we want to know what kind of jobs are there, what types of fields are available for us to work in, which is going to get us the most money or the best money for the opportunity that we want to go into, the good areas, the nice places, all of these things. Your search online is limited to the people who supply the information. So I'll use an example. When I was in Bahrain, the job that I got, the school that I ultimately wound up being hired at, didn't have a website. I didn't even know the school existed at all. Okay, it was a brand new school. Okay, brand new. When I joined them, the school had only been open 3 years. 3 years. It wasn't until I stayed with them a total of 8 years over the course of 10 years. So I left for 2, came back. I did 4, then left for 2, and then came back for 4. So over a 10-year period, only in my 4th or 5th year of being with them, which equates to their 8th year, they finally got a website. Which means what? I would have never been hired at that school if I had just relied on online resources. Never. So, I mean, your online investigating, which you should be doing, is only going to take you so far. You have to put in your mind, okay, I've reached the limit of what I can research. I've reached the limit of my due diligence. I'm going to have to save up the money, preferably find me a contact, somebody that's preferably a single brother or a single sister, depending on what country you want to fly into, because some countries may not allow a single female traveler into the country without a mahram. I'm investigating currently if this is true for Saudi Arabia at the present moment. I'll try to keep you updated on that if I don't forget, inshallah. So if she can travel into another country and she's looking around, all right, it pays to have someone already there that you've made contact with. So this could be another countryman of yours, a fellow American, or a fellow Brit, or whatever it is, okay, or just a friend of yours, right? That helps a lot, because then you can, stay with them for a few days, and that will relieve the burden of having to pay for a hotel like this. But other than that, you would have to budget that. So just like you would budget plane tickets anyway, okay? And if you do this right, and you've got the right qualifications and you secure the job, that might be the only time you have to pay for the ticket, because the country who's going to hire you, the company who's going to hire you, in most cases, is going to provide airfare. They're supposed to provide airfare for you to the country and back to your country of origin. If they don't give you a ticket back to your country of origin, they'll at least give you the money or a certain amount of allowance and say, okay, we'll pay up to X amount for this ticket. Here's the money in cash. You book your own ticket, which I actually prefer. So that's an investment of your time. So just like you would take off work to go to a lecture for a couple of days, or you would take off for your vacation time, or you would take off to do some personal business of yours, take that time off to say, hey, instead of spending 2 weeks, kind of hanging around and doing whatever and just relaxing, let me make that 2 weeks where I buy an actual ticket and I get out of here and go to X country. When you land, you're going to see so much um, more opportunities, more things that are available than you saw when you were online. You're going to be in places that you didn't even know existed, because either the people that you were talking with online, most of the time you have almost the same knowledge base, just about. Okay, people have been in Egypt, can tell you things about Egypt, but they don't know all of Egypt, right? So, but they are a good resource. Okay, but they don't know everything about Egypt. They don't know everything about Morocco. They don't know everything about Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, the Gulf countries, Africa, whatever. So that's going to take you so far. So you're going to take that knowledge and you're going to say, okay, I know this is here. Let me see what else is here. And I'm speaking from personal experience, because this is how I got my first job. I just went there. I had a good friend of mine, the brother. He put me up. He had an extra room. I slept in the extra room every day at 7 o'clock. I'm out the house. I got a big 1.5 liter bottle. They have 1.5 liter bottles, big skinny bottle, right, of cold water every day. And I'm telling you, 95 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm already sweating, and I haven't even walked 2 blocks out the house, but I'm on a job hunt. I got CVs, resumes in my hand, in my little portfolio thing. I got my thobe on. I'm sweating. I'm drinking water, and I'm walking down to the bus stop. Okay. That allowed me to find, I started asking people, like, where are the hubs? Like, and lots of places you'll find that the companies you want to work at are kind of grouped in a location or in a neighborhood or along a certain set of streets. So it's not hard to kind of make your rounds and hit that whole circuit. So I found an area or a hub where there were a bunch of private schools. So in that hub, there may have been 3 to 4, private schools. So I hit every school in that hub. Go in, ask to speak to the principal, the mudir, or the mudira. Okay, I'm leaving my CV. I'm not leaving the CV and leaving. I'm bringing my CV with me. But when I go in, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. How are you? Sabah khair, sabah nur. Okay, good morning. Yeah, I came to speak to the principal. Oh, okay. Can I ask what this is about? Yeah, I'm coming here to apply for a teaching position. That's how you had to do it. In most cases, especially in the Arab world, things are still very informal. You can literally walk into a school, walk into certain places. I don't think that you could do this in a factory or big plant like Aramco, but you can walk into those offices that have people who are responsible for hiring, or just the main office. You start to inquire, okay, who can I came here to apply. Okay, the person that does the hiring is not in this office, they're in this office. Okay, can I have the address? You get the address, you go there to that place, and you just walk in the door. Forget about trying to schedule appointments and all that stuff, because a lot of times it's just not done like that. It's face to face. I see you, you see me. I'm walking in. Hello, my name is. How are you? So now when they go, I came to apply for the job. Do you have any kind of CV or resume with you? Yes, I do. Here you go. Instant. That's instant interview. If they ask me for a CV and they're looking at my CV and then they start to engage me, I'm in an interview. I'm in an interview right now on the spot. If they say we don't have anything right now, or we're looking to bring some people on in another week or so, can I go ahead and keep this CV? That means it's just not an interview, but they are accepting their application. So I would not have done all that. I would not have had the experience with that had I not went there for myself. I saw lots of places that if only, I would say only in the last 10 years, did I actually see websites for those schools now online. They are not on Craigslist. They're not on what you call it, Dave's ESL Cafe. Most of them were not. Most of them were not on the ESL websites that we are used to seeing when we are hunting for, specifically for teaching jobs, right? English language teaching jobs, which is my area. So a lot of these things, you just kind of walk around. You got to hit the pavement and start walking around. While I'm there, I'm also doing reconnaissance. This is really not a vacation. It's a vacation in the sense that I'm in a different country and I get to experience different things, and it's a memorable trip that I'm making. But this is kind of like a working vacation because I'm doing reconnaissance. So I want to walk around, which I actually did. I walked around to all the grocery stores. If there was a mall, I hit the mall. What kind of stuff am I going to find? What kind of shops do they have? What kind of people? What's the flow like when I go in the mall? What's the flow like? When I get in an area, okay, where's the hospital? Okay, I learned there were private hospitals and there were public hospitals. I learned that there were government-based hospitals, but they were open. They were primarily for the government, military people, but also open to the public. You can't find that information online. There's no way you're going to find that information online. And even if it did, you wouldn't even know the search term to input it into a search engine. I went and found the clinics. Stark difference between a hospital and a clinic. I went to the pharmacies. I went to go check out the prices for certain things. I learned later on, or in my travels, I learned that certain medications that I need prescriptions for in the States, I don't need them in those countries, in the Gulf countries. I just need to be able to pay for the price of for the medication, as long as it's not a narcotic. If it's a narcotic, I need a doctor's prescription. But stuff like antibiotics, like amoxicillin, penicillin, certain blood pressure medications, even Voltaren, which is like for your arthritis and stuff like that, like the cream for the joints and stuff like that. In America, you need prescriptions for all of that, which means you got to go to a doctor and pay out of pocket. It's self-insured, or you need medical insurance. I don't need that there. I just need to go there and say, this is what I need, or this is the ailment that I have. What can I take for that? And I can buy it over the counter. I didn't know that before. You will never find that information online. Okay. Then I went to the grocery stores. So there's a difference between the grocery stores. You got your big, large grocery stores. Then you got your little community stores, what they call in Kuwait, they call it a co-op. Okay. These are like small government-owned grocery stores. When I mean by small, they're not mega grocery stores. They're big grocery stores, but they are owned by the government so they can control the prices so people don't do, price gouging and stuff like that. Then you have your little baqala, or your, what do they call it? The baqala, or your, I forgot the other name for it, but different countries call it different things. But baqala is like a cold store. The Brits call it a cold store. We would call it a convenience store, like 7-Eleven, your little, the bodega, small corner stores. You got those in the neighborhood. You're never going to see that stuff online. And it's a whole different system of things. On top of that, when you get into these situations with jobs, you're going to be, if they're telling you, hey, we can't, we're not hiring anybody right now. We have all the staff that we need. On the spot, you can ask for a referral. Okay, do you know any schools I could go to that are looking for English teachers? Sure, try this place over here. And I'll say at least half the time, it's someone that they know. That principal knows that principal from this school, or the owner of the school, which is also sometimes the principal as well, the principal and the owner, or the principal and the owner and the general manager. They wear lots of hats. They can tell you, yeah, go and see Abu so-and-so, or go see Miss so-and-so, or Mr. so-and-so, and they'll give you the address and the number and tell them I sent you. And more than likely, by the time you turn and walk out the door, they're already calling. Hey, I got a guy coming over to you from America, black guy. He's going to drop off his CV. I think if you need another teacher, I'm going to send him your way. Okay. This is networking, you guys. This is networking, So you don't get that kind of thing sitting in the comfort of your own home in front of your computer or in a group. Hey, does anybody know how many times have I seen the same questions get asked over and over? And it's almost like your eyes are closed. How many times do we get the same questions about visas? Okay, I'm in here on a student visa. I want to get a work visa. Can I change my student visa to a work visa? Can I convert my student visa into a work? It doesn't work like that. And we keep telling you, but you keep doing it. And you keep asking the same questions over and over again. Or there's a limit to how much. And I think most of the time that might happen because you've kind of reached the limit of what questions to ask. So now you really don't know what questions you should ask because you've asked everything that you think you need to ask. But when you land, it's completely different. It's completely different when you land because then you get to see the country with your own eyes. You get to talk to people if you're a talkative person, right? My son is like that. He talks a lot. He's a real sociable kind of guy. He do very well in those countries because he's able to talk to people. He has a very disarming personality. So he could talk to people and get people to open up and get information and like this and he can navigate where he needs to go. We have to be like that. We have to be like that. Sitting in your home, sitting on your computer, sitting on your phone, you're only going to get so much information. So part of your Hijrah process in wrapping up should include budgeting for a round trip to said country. Okay. Well, let's back up. Do you even have a passport? How in the world are you talking about making Hijrah? You don't even have a passport. I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get one. Yeah, you're right, because we need a passport. Yeah, but you've been singing this Hijrah song for the last 4 years, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. You've been talking about making Hijrah. You've been beating the Hijrah drum for 10 years. It's why did you make Hijrah? Because Rasulullah, he said this and that. But you don't even have a passport. You don't even have a passport. Where you going? Come on, man. Come on. There's some groundwork that's required from your part because it's nice. It's entertaining. It's fun to entertain this dream of Hijrah from the comfort of your home and your computer. Man, you got to go land in these places. Get out there in that heat. Sweat for a while. Get your feet tired from walking this pavement back and forth. So first, you got to get a passport. In the current situation post-COVID, when I first got my passport many moons ago, they would tell you to take about 2 months, but it actually took about 2 weeks each time that I did it. This latest round, it took 2 months. Okay, so be prepared for 2, maximum 4 months. I don't know of anyone that's taken that long, maybe one person. All right, get a passport. You can't go anywhere. You don't even have a passport. You're not really serious at this point then. It's hard to gauge the level of your seriousness and your determination to see this goal through. I didn't say dream, I said goal, because goals are connected to actions. Dreams live in your head. And if you don't bring that dream into an actionable goal, it just dies right in your mind. So it was born in your mind and it dies in your mind. A goal is something that you actually take steps to work toward. It might take you a while to save up, X amount of money. Right? There are videos out there that can show you, and I'm going to do this when I get a chance, that you can hop from one place to another. For example, I'm talking about airfare now, and I'm kind of diverging off the subject, but just to show you how it can be done, where it might not be as much money as you might think. And a reminder again, please like and subscribe to the channel. You might say, okay, I want to go from here to Riyadh. I want to go visit. I'm gonna get a visit visa. I want to go to Riyadh. You got your passport in your hand, right? But you might find that the ticket to Riyadh might be somewhere around $1,600 to $2,000. This is round trip. You can't go in on a one way. If you're going on a one way, they'll more than likely they'll probably turn you back because you have to have evidence to show that when you get here, you're going to actually leave. Okay, and you can't buy the ticket the return ticket when you get there and try to explain your situation. They don't want to hear that. This is the way that they do business, and you can't expect them to accommodate you because you think that you're pretty slick, with the tongue and you can kind of finagle it. No one's doing that. No one's doing that. When you go there, you got to have a return ticket, and it's just safe. Why would you save up all of that money, do all that packing and preparing and budgeting to land in the country and be turned around when you get there? That's a waste of everybody's time. It is. It really is. Have a return ticket schedule so you get a round trip ticket. Maybe you flying directly from, for example, let's just say California. From California to Riyadh, it's probably going to cost you $2,000. But if you take a series of shorter hops, you might come out less expensive. So, for example, you may say, okay, I'm going to go from California to Tijuana. And then from Tijuana, I'm going to go to, what's the next country on the western side there? I don't want to say China. But you go to some other short hop country, maybe Germany or something like that, right? And that might cost you a little bit of money here. So you'll pay for more tickets, but in the end, it won't accumulate to the amount of money you would have spent. Okay, so you might get one hop that'll cost you $100. Another short hop might cost you $200 or $300. Another short hop might cost you $400 or $500, and then the last hop might cost you another $300 or $400, depending on where you are. For example, if you can get in Dubai, it's not Dubai, it's Dubai. If you get in Dubai, you're talking about in Saudi Arabia, it's an hour, 45 minutes to an hour plane ride. It's not going to be a very expensive ticket, not expensive at all. Okay, so you may be able to short hop your way into Riyadh. Okay, or even if there's no airport that I know of in Riyadh. There is an airport in Riyadh, but you would, if you can get into Dammam, that might be cheaper, and then you just get an Uber because they have Uber out there. You get an Uber, ride you into Dammam, and you're good to go. Or you could start your reconnaissance in Dammam since you're already in the country now. You've already landed in Dammam. You have Dammam, you have Khobar, you have Abqaiq, and you have Al Hassa. 4 of those areas are within an hour and a half distance from each other by car. So you have 4 different cities that you can jump straight in. Okay, so budget your money for your tickets, budget your hotel. Okay, and just assume that you're going to be in a hotel unless somebody invites you to stay with them and all of that. But always be prepared. Enough money for food. Okay, you might have to oodles and noodles it for a while. Okay, don't try to go out to the restaurants because you want to experience all these different things and all that if it's going to eat into your budget like that, because you got to be able to move around with your transportation, eat, and be able to basically shower and take care of yourself while you're there. So that's what you're going to need to do. You got to get boots on the ground, plain and simple. If you don't do that, you're never going to really know, and you're going to be limited to the information you're exposed to in your WhatsApp group, in your Telegram group, in your Reddit group. That's a good starting point. Then you need to finish that with an actual trip there. When the first time I did this kind of reconnaissance, I literally went into the grocery stores, and the first thing I looked for was food that I knew of from the States, which I found a lot of it. Okay, brands of food. Okay, and then there were other brands, there were other types of food. They were not the same brand that I ate, but it was the same food. Okay, now I need to know, like, what are the prices for this kind of stuff. So I was literally writing down, I had a notebook and I was literally writing down prices, right? Riceland rice. This is this two dinar, this and this and this. And I was in the store for so long because I started with staples. So staples would be like milk, eggs, butter, maybe cereal if you eat cereal, oatmeal, rice, staple stuff that every household pretty much has in their shelf, some canned goods, things like that. And then I branched into other things because as I'm walking the store, I'm like, wow, they got this. Oh, I didn't know they had bumblebee tuna here. Okay. All right. And as I'm going around, I've been there for so long, the people in the store, I'm catching eyes now. They're looking at me at the side of the eye and they're going, okay. So one guy from the store, he's like, can I help you with something? And I was like, oh no, I'm just, right now prices because I'm gonna be moving here and I just want to get an idea of what the food is gonna cost me. He's like, yeah, well, we will appreciate if you would not do that because everybody thought I was from some competition, another store as a competitor, and I'm scoping out their prices. So I had to eventually stop doing it. But I had a bucket load of price listing stuff, and I just went to another store and did the same thing. Okay. So those kind of things that you want to make reconnaissance on. So when you go back now and you try to sell this idea to your family, I don't know how long I've been talking here. We're gonna cut this off. When you go to try to sell this idea to your family, you have some information now. This is not some pipe dream. This is not some dream, because these are the questions you're going to get asked. What's the food situation like? How are the hospitals? Are they state of the art? Are they clean? Do we have, especially, you need to do this if you have children that have special needs. So if you have anybody on the Asperger's syndrome or the autism spectrum syndrome, autism spectrum, or Down syndrome, or anything like that in that category of special needs, you really need to take your time and see if you can find places that have these support facilities, because they're not going to be the same. I'm going to tell you now, even though you might find that, right, it won't be the same as America. So don't count on that. They're not going to have somebody, coming from sending like a nurse, to help you take care of the kid, and it's on your medical insurance and this and that. That's not the kind of system they have set up. But what you need to do is find you a support system that will help you to the degree that you can take over from that after that. Okay, so if that's somewhere where they can do like an IEP, individual educational program, right? So that they could teach them like life skills, behavior modifications, and you look to see if the staff are English speaking staff. What is their demeanor like? Maybe if you can talk with them and just kind of get an idea of their bedside manner. Are they nice? Are they patient? Are they loud? What are they? Because this person's going to be interacting with your children. So when you go back, you've got information now. Okay, what's the situation? Because Fatima has autism. What we're going to do about Fatima and Khaled both are autistic. Khaled doesn't talk at all, and Fatima, she has some OCD situations, some repetitive OCD situations along with her autism. Have you found any places that can do that can accommodate us? What is the situation with the food like? Do they have the same kind of food we have here? The same kind of spices? What's the prices like? You've written all this stuff down. Okay. What's the situation with the housing? So you want to go to the Akaria, which is the real estate office. Okay. Get a guy to show you around a couple of places, what's the rent like, and like this, this is what we're looking at for rent for a 1-bedroom or for a 2-bedroom, like that. Are they furnished, unfurnished? Let me go to the aswaq. Let me go to the markets. Let me go look around and see what the furniture looks like. I can get custom made furniture, or furniture is already made out in the open market, where they have, like, the open market has everything in it. I don't want to bring the value of it down and call it like a flea market, because it's kind of a flea market, but it's open air household goods at the same time. So you can get stuff like hardware stuff, hammers and nails, and tape measures and all kind of stuff, tiles, windows, cabinets, living room sets, ottomans, lamps, tables, beds. There are areas that have that they are carpenters, right? So they can custom make you, because you might not be satisfied with the quality of some of this stuff, because a lot of this stuff is Asian, and so it might not be as durable as you need it. It looks kind of thin, right? And you don't want to buy something like that, and then you go, oh, I sure am tired. Boom, and you plop on the bed and the whole thing smashed to the ground, because it's not made for people with our kind of girth. Americans tend to be a little bit on the big side. Okay, so you found a carpenter, he'll custom make you a bed, or even a bunk bed if you got children, like that. So that's the kind of stuff you don't see that online. You don't see that online. You have to actually go there. You go, okay, got this souk over here, got this one over here. This one's got mirrors. My wife likes flowers, so there's a flower shop over here. There's this, that. We got plants. We got this. You find all that stuff. That's information. When you come back and you want to sell the idea of Hijrah to your family, you got information. A lot of our wives and our family, they are very hesitant to make Hijrah because we don't know what's there. All we know is you came back glowing. What's wrong with him? He came back glowing from a talk about the purpose, the benefits of Hijrah and why you should go with this and that. He said, baby, pack it up. We're leaving. Leaving where? We're going to Egypt. What's in Egypt? We have to trust in Allah and this and that. No. You're not walking me into the unknown. And that's fair. That's fair. So when you go, you have information now. This is what I found. And you might have to do this a couple of times. So this year, you're going to go to, for example, Kuwait. Next year, if you're still here, and you're saving up a little bit of money at the time, and we'll do another video on that too. You save up a little bit of money. Next year, you go to Egypt. Let's say, yeah, Egypt. The next year, if you're still here, you didn't find what you needed necessarily, you go to Bahrain. Then you go to Qatar, or you go to Sudan, or you go to Gambia, or you go to Ghana, or you go to Somalia, or wherever you're going, okay? And you're gathering information. So as you're gathering information, now your family, you can sit. You're the leader of the household here, but you got to lead with information. Okay, you guys, we've been to, say, 6 countries in the last 6 years, okay? Weighing the pros and cons. Okay, this one's got this one's got that. This is good, but it doesn't have that. This one's good, but it don't have that. This one's not so good, but it has this and this and this. You weigh your options, okay? Also finding out what kind of work is there, because, and that's going to be another video too, inshallah. You want to make sure that you are able to fulfill a need, or fill a void, or fill a gap, or soothe a pain point of the company that you're going to, that you're going to be working with. Okay. Again, more of that on another video. Wrapping up in conclusion, take the time to save and budget your money so that you can, first of all, get you a passport. And second of all, find out the places you want to go, which one's the cheapest of the airfare, and on your list of potential countries, and actually go there. Budget your money for your passport, for your ticket, that's your return flight, a few days in the hotel, maybe even a week or 2 in the hotel, okay? Or you have some contact, on the ground and say, hey, I can put you up here for 3 days. I can put you up here for 2 days. I can put you up for a day. I got a room, my family's out, they're going to be, my family's in another city, and they're going to be spending the night, so you can kind of hang out with me for a night because I'm going to stay home because I got to work. It works like that, okay? It works if you work it. Okay. Then when you come back, you've got information, and you just keep doing that until you found the place that is the best of what you have available, because you will not find a perfect country. You will not find a country that ticks all the boxes. It just is not like that, because you're looking at it from a Western standpoint. Okay, look, if I leave this place, it's got to have that. And that's not always the case. Okay. So which of these are the best out of what I have selected? I go back, I go and get that information, and then I come back and I let my family know this is what I found. That's it. So again, thanks for your time and listening. It's been a while. I'm in the middle of some projects right now, and inshallah, if they prove fruitful, I will have some different videos for you on the topic of Hijrah, along with some other things that we're going to introduce, from things that you really need to know to prepare yourself. So that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.